All right guys, we're back in the shop after getting all the glass removed from the M2C race car. I was gonna start stripping the car, but I think tonight's project is gonna be getting this roof skin off. I've been really dying to get this roof skin off. I don't think it's gonna take too long. I'm kind of motivated to do it. Usually when I'm motivated, that's the best time to get it done. Don't really want to climb around inside the car. If I take the roof skin off, it'll also make getting in and out of the car and all that stuff even easier because I'll have some extra room to work with. Yeah, I don't really want to lay on my knees or anything. I kind of am down to just start grinding on these seam sealers and grinding on these spot welds. So yeah, without further ado, I think we're just gonna blue wrap the car, most of it. I'm gonna put a big, like not tarp, but welding blanket over the front of the car. I'm gonna blue wrap the sides of the car, probably safety tape and stuff, a bunch of the A pillar and B pillar section, C pillar section, and just start cleaning all this seam sealer up so that we can see the spot welds and then get to these actual welds themselves. So all right guys, we've gone crazy. We've grinded all the spot welds, at least I think so. Hopefully they're ground enough. We did start popping the corner just to see if we did, and I was able to snap that spot weld pretty easily. As you can see, the whole back of the car has been done, all the way across the window trim. Some of these may need to be worked a little bit, but at the same time, you can just probably break them with the spot weld breaker, especially as I start to get more. So all the way around, the front and the back has been done. I'm just gonna start trying to pop this thing off, honestly. We're gonna set you guys up. I'm just gonna work the corner. I'll probably work across the back windshield here and then start working it down the sides. Who knows? I've seen some people kind of cut the roof, which makes it easier to work this side edge. So we'll see what we got to do, but I'm going to start by breaking this back edge here. So. All right, guys, this thing was kind of a pain in the butt. The sides are quite difficult. There's quite a bit of seam sealer holding this thing down. It seems like now that I've almost gotten there, I can probably just force this thing up and break the rest of the spot welds. Getting this first chunk up and getting the rear up was quite difficult. I did kind of have to poke a hole on the passenger side because this side seems to be really stuck for some reason. So I kind of poked a hole, cut it, and that allowed me to fold this back section, which then just like broke the rest of the spot welds on that side. Kind of been trying to do the same thing up in this front side. Got through like the first 4, kind of hammering the thing through. But it isn't the easiest thing, so we're getting there. I wanted to show you guys, tell you kind of where I'm at. It's almost there. I'm gonna get this thing for sure. Really, really close. I did go inside as well and kind of poke through a lot of the seam sealer here, just to kind of help loosen it up on this middle brace and the front brace, which is really loosen the thing up. I'm hoping that I can just break this whole side and then use that leverage to go ahead and get the passenger side, but we're literally almost there. So I'm gonna set you guys up on the time lapse again. We'll see if we can't get this thing all the way knocked out. So let's get her done. Damn, guys, there it is. There it is. All right, guys, well, there it is. She's off. She's off. We have a convertible M2. It's official. It's exactly what I wanted. It's going for that convertible look. Got a little cleanup to do. Kind of clean all these spot weld spots. We did a really good job getting through most of them. We'll knock all those down, make it look clean, shoot it with some E-coat. A couple little spots to just hammer out flat and fix. For my first time pulling a roof skin, I think I did a pretty good job. These spot welds weren't the easiest thing to break down the side, and there's this thick seam sealer. So we'll have to get all that cut out. We'll have to get all this stuff kind of cut out as well. A lot of cleanup to do, but super excited to be on to the next step of the build. We'll test fit this carbon roof here in a bit. We'll get all the seam sealer off and just keep cracking along. But yeah, that was not the easiest thing ever, but it's done now. Now that we've done it, I got some tricks to get it done quicker. I definitely think, you know, you could heat this up, which would help. I was worried about burning the paint, and that's why I didn't do that. If you guys are like doing a full paint job, then you wouldn't have to worry about that. Me trying to keep the paint definitely wasn't a concern of mine. But we'll go and just clean all these spot welds up here in a second. At this point, I'm probably gonna get the seats out of it, maybe get the center console out of it. I've made a mess of everything. I thought I could do, it's not too bad, but I thought I could do this without really getting any metal inside the car. And it is a quite messy job. It's much better to strip the car. But anyhow, it is what it is. We are almost there. So let's go ahead and just keep cracking on. Super excited to test this carbon roof. All right, guys, we've been sitting on this carbon roof for quite some time. I'm so excited to test it out in the car. We've given everything a good vacuum and wipe down. We're not done. We got to do a little cleanup on some of these spots, but I'm just eager to see this carbon roof on the car. So without further ado, let's just set it up on there, see how she looks, and just get a feel for what it'll look like with the carbon roof. Wow, guys, this thing looks amazing. Still have a little seam sealer to deal with here. There's a bunch of stuff in the crevice here that I'll have to cut out. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna go about that. I'm gonna probably try and take a razor blade and just cut straight along the edge here, because it's about where it is, and then try and work it with like a spatula and get all that out. I'm thinking that when I have the cage painted, I'll have all this stuff painted all the way down to here, tape it off, and then maybe make a line right below the edge here, just so that everything's sealed up there completely and painted. And we don't want to see the paint roll over the edge, because you will see it when the trim pieces are back on the car, which is another thing we'll have to figure out, because the factory trim pieces clip in. Trim pieces I'll have to get, not totally sure. I think this is the other side, but anyhow, just to get an idea. So definitely going to be a little questionable as far as what's required to make these things work, but maybe they just pop back in. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to glue them. We'll find out. Anyhow, these things look sick, and super excited to get this thing mounted. The coolest part about this sunroof, or carbon roof, is the fact that there's some bolt holes, so it gives you some measurements from the factory to measure it left to right, but it pretty much just falls into place. Once I cut all this extra gunk out of the way, the thing will sit like perfectly. We'll put the bolts in, we'll measure it left to right, front to back, and it's actually quite easy. Test fit those things, make sure that the gaps are right, left to right, and you just bolt her down with some seam sealer and clamp it in the front and in the back and on the sides, as many places as you can. That's pretty much it. It's actually quite an easy install, easier than I was expecting. Obviously, those of you guys that have full interior and you know, headliner, all that stuff will be a lot harder. Look at how cool the carbon looks though in the car. You will have to glue it to this secondary piece here. We'll see what we do with the cage. We may end up taking that centerpiece out because this car is getting caged, but not 100% sure yet. I'm gonna let the guys come and scan the car, see what they want to do. If they want me to remove it, I will remove it. But yeah, anyhow, it fits amazing, and the quality is top notch, being a BMW part. But yeah, I'm really, really, really excited to get this thing locked down with the cage in the car, get the interior fully painted with a nice gloss Hockenheim, and just make this thing safer and freaking cooler. Anyhow, been a night. It's been about 2 a.m. now, so I'm probably gonna put this thing back in the box. I'm gonna finish prepping the car for the roof, get the rest of the interior stripped for the boys coming on Sunday, and then we'll have our day with the car, scanning it, and who knows, I may end up having to cut this partial shelf out. Haven't fully decided what we're gonna do with that just yet, but anyhow, we're gonna figure that out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Not many people doing stuff like this to their M2, so definitely trying to push the boundaries here with this thing and show you guys how it's done. All right, guys, now that we've stripped the roof off the car, it's gonna make working on the car a little bit easier. If we need to stand up in the car, stretch our legs, whatever, it'll be nice and easy. So next step is gonna be getting the seats out. I'm gonna get the center console out. I'm gonna start working on the harness back to front and you know, all this trim panel. Like this guy, we may end up cutting the rear parcel shelf out, so got a bunch of stuff to look at and do. We'll just stop talking about it and get after it. All right, guys, the dash is basically out, as you can see. I just wanted to make sure I talked about it before I did pull it fully out. There's just about 9 bolts holding in it across the whole structure, but to get it out, you got to get all of the amplifier, the AC controls, the screen, basically anything that's in the dash, like the vents, out of the way, because pretty much every piece hides a bolt somewhere. But anyhow, this thing's ready to come out, so we're gonna go ahead. All right, guys, I was trying to get this dash bar out from inside the car, but we ended up having to pull the cross brace here at the back and the carbon strut brace, and that plastic cover that runs back there. There's a bolt that you can't really see that runs through the firewall to the dash bar, and there's a little nut clip on it that I tried to remove right here and get that thing off from the backside, but was impossible. You can't get a socket or even a wrench or anything in there. It's just too tight, but we ended up getting it after quite some struggle. There are a couple bolts here in the center, one here on the side and one over there on that side that kind of hold the AC box in place. This thing is ready to come out. I've got one clip for the wiring harness still attached, so we're gonna go ahead and get that unclipped and then just get this thing out of the car. Anyhow, we're gonna keep trucking on. I mean, this AC box, as much as I don't want to get it out, it has to come out. If we're gonna paint the car, paint the cage, do it correctly, everything has to come out of the way. It just really sucks. It's a lot of work. I did want to get into cutting this parcel shelf. I've been kind of going back and forth on it, but just seeing as that I want the cage to tie into the rear strut braces, strut tower, I'm gonna need to cut this parcel shelf, and I think it'll look cleaner. The only thing is we're gonna get rid of the airbags, and that little box that I'm talking about is, you can believe it, this one little random box here. If you get rid of that, your keys will not work anymore. So that must be one of the sensors for picking up the key itself. Not totally sure. I gotta read that part number. But anyhow, almost everything else is disconnected. Doesn't seem to be affecting the car. Still got to obviously pull the battery and a bunch of this other stuff back here. But I've been kind of trying to just focus on the dash area, because I think that kind of stuff, to be honest, for the scan data, doesn't really matter. He's mainly after the contour of the floor pan and the rear seat section and the strut towers, so that he can design a cage to fit the car. But yeah, nonetheless, we're gonna keep going and get this thing dialed. All right, guys, after getting the dash harness bar out, there's a few clips under here, a couple plugs that we've disconnected that I've marked. Like this one has 2 dots. I put 2 dots there. There's a little 1 dot here for this guy. Anyhow, Everything kind of should fall back in place. What is nice is we'll get to clean this stuff out. There's some gunk that's made it into our fan, which we'll be able to clean all that out, blow our motor. Now that I know how to do this, done it, probably do it a lot faster. Honestly, I wasn't feeling the best today, so been taking quite a few breaks. Fun stuff. I think though that's the last thing holding this thing in. I think literally just these lines and this whole evap box will come out. So we'll get that from the firewall side. There's just 2 hoses going to the firewall. We have decent access to here. Just this guy here and that guy there. We may need to do these 2 AC lines as well. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. Yeah, we will. We're gonna have to do those 2 AC lines, which good thing is we already drained the system, so I can just pop those and there shouldn't be really anything in them. There may be just a little residual even after you evac and then you let it sit. There's vapors that end up in the oil and other places and kind of evaporate later on. There might be just a tiny bit of pressure in there, but yeah, we'll go ahead and get that stuff undone and keep moving on. There is the lower portion of the carpet, or that's the drain, I guess, probably for the I went into the AC. That's the drain for the AC box. This is just some isolation stuff. I think we were trying to rip all that out. Probably just end up ripping it out, but yeah, we are literally there. The car from this point on is easy to get the wiring harness out. Like I said, I've left just enough stuff intact that I can actually run the motor. I mean, honestly, I may, after we strip the car, scan the car, I may just throw everything kind of back in like this loosely, just so that we can drive the car in and out. I can put the dash bar in now to hold the steering column, just so we can put a steering wheel on it for the meantime and just move it around a little bit. Gotta maybe pull this module here, pull the hood release so that he can scan this corner to make some base plates. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna try to leave what I can intact. I may, yeah, I don't know, I may wait till he gets here to see if any of this stuff obviously is needed to be pulled. Like, we're gonna pull that, we're gonna pull all the stuff here in the center, but and these grounds and certain things. But yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff probably, you know, the back harness stuff, I'll probably jam out on the rear parcel shelf tonight and get that out of the way. That's gonna be a fun one, to grind all those welds and cut those bad boys out. Kind of gonna be sad to cut it. Part of me wants to leave it because it does add some strength here in the back of the car, but at the same time, I mean, it's pretty stout. It'll look way cleaner. I really wanted to keep speakers, and I may still find a way to mount the speakers to like the cage or whatnot, but I also really want the cage to tie into the rear strut. The shock tower shouldn't move, which is the most important part. Part of me is almost at this point considering just tying the cage into the strut tower themselves, but that does require a bit more work to relocate the fuse box here, and obviously got to punch some holes through. The biggest problem becomes the ABS module and the brake booster. There's really no room on this driver side, so that's kind of the reason for not doing it. I'll sleep on it. I'll talk to Rob, who's the designer of the cage at Cade Kits. He's going to be designing me a completely bespoke cage, utilizing the door bars or the door cards that I have for the car. But yeah, I'm pretty amped on this. We're almost there. So without further ado, let's keep cracking on and finish up all this work. Alright guys, we've stripped the whole harness out, basically a little bit left here in the front. I'm hoping that this is enough to scan everything, and then we can just like hold the harnesses out of the way, and we'll see. If they really need me to pull more, I will. Probably will only take me like an hour. I do need to cut this parcel shelf out, so I think that's next up, because I'm just going to go to town on this thing right here. We're just going to try and trim it right here along this edge. all the way around, but I don't want to lose all the structure in the parcel shell, so I do need to kind of assess that, as this will have some pretty good structure if we leave it till there to where it's spot welded together. Give some structure for the trunk to mount to and all that. If I cut all of that out, we run the risk of it being quite flimsy. So I think that's the way to go. This whole brace piece though has to get going, and we're gonna have to drill all the spot welds and knock this thing off the strut tower there. It's gonna be a little bit of work, but let's go ahead and get to it. We're just gonna take a hacksaw, I think, the hole here, cut over, and just try and cut the brunt of this out, and then we'll grind the rest of it clean. I'm thinking that's the best way to do it, so let's get after it.
If you like this video, be sure to check out the next one, and if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe and like the video. It helps a lot. Thanks, and see you in the next one.